he's making a comment. He's saying, I don't like this. This is really messed up. So he wrote Animal Farm as an attack on what was going on in Russia. You guys understand what I'm saying? Yeah?
Did he get in trouble for writing the book?
I don't think so. No?
Yeah, he's English, so I don't get how I'm assuming he's English.
Yeah, yep, he's English, you're right. No, I don't believe that he got in any trouble for that. Good question, though.
And
Definitely happened. Yeah?
when was the book published?
45? Is that right?
Here's a little wrinkle here politically, and I don't want to get too much off the track, but
Go ahead.
during World War II, the United States and Russia are allies. The United States allied itself with Stalin. The United States gives Russia all kinds of tanks, weapons, gasoline, shoes, underwear, food, socks, coats, belts, hats, gloves, jeeps, trucks, tools, so they can fight the Nazis. The Russians lose 20 million people during World War II. 20 million. 20 million people. Okay. So the book is kind of some criticism of the United States, by the United States and the West is kind of muted during the World War II because the bigger objective there was to beat the Nazi, was to kill Hitler. And it's the Russians who go into Berlin and take Berlin. The Russians, take Berlin. We allowed them in a way to take Berlin as kind of the trophy, the big prize, because we kind of held off because the Russian people suffered so egregiously during World War II. And there's all kinds of pogroms, the killing of Jews, other minorities, other Russians by the Germans. Germans and Russians don't like each other. They really, really don't like each other at all. And a lot of times there was a black flag. You know what the black flag means? The black flag, they put up the black flag, means take no prisoners. It means really take no prisoners. So they when guys put up their hands, they just killed them many times. Many of the Germans were taken into Siberia, right? And into the gulags, into the work camps there. Yeah.
I have a question. So I read this one book, Supreme Charge of Mary from that, and there was so it's talking about Russia and how they put people in concentration camps, like Russia was putting people in concentration camps, but the Nazis also put people in concentration camps too, or the Russians putting in concentration camps?
Political prisoners, all kinds of people were liquidated. Stalin kills them.
They were, my understanding is they were after people that were educated, not Jews or people like that.
It's teachers, priests, writers, artists, anybody who was a critic, anybody who was a competitor of Stalin was liquidated or sent to the gulag. Gulag. It's the Russian word for prison. It's called a gulag. So we use the word gulags, and all over Siberia there were all kinds of gulags where the Russians liquidated all kinds of people, millions of people. Stalin probably killed about 25 million people. 25 million. And that's what those little episodes are of terrorism. And kids in school reported kind of narked on their teachers, right? Like in school, if a teacher in class, the door was shut and criticized the regime or Stalin, kids went home, like in a class there would be 5 kids who would report secretly on teachers. So the control of books, propaganda, film, art, music, all of that celebrated the state. This fellow's in charge.
one time I looked up like top 10 evilest people in the world.
Yeah.
I was curious what they were, and I was like a while ago, so I didn't really know who Stalin was, but he was actually number 1, and I was like, why is Hitler number 1? And I got to know Stalin was not the leader.
Yeah,
So I was
you're right. It's up there on that list.
really cool.
So the basic thing that you guys need to take out of this is that Animal Farm is both an allegory, it's a symbol of other events. It's a story about a farm with animals on it that have a rebellion, but it's what Orwell means to tell us is the story of the Russian Revolution. Is Orwell kind in the way he describes the events? What do you guys think, everybody? So we could call this sort of an attack, right? He's not saying kind things about this government. He's not saying kind things about his leaders. He's attacking them. And he's doing it in a public way by writing a novel. That's what a satire is. Now this is a political satire. There are other types of satire. He's attacking this whole thing. Yeah?
Was Stalin alive, like, to read it?
Huh?
Do you think Stalin was really able to read it?
Was he able to read it?
Yeah. So,
Oh.
like,
I don't think so.
yeah.
I guess I don't know the answer to that question, but I would guess.
But could he, would he have been able to read it? Like, is it?
He's saying, was he alive when the book was published?
Wasn't it, is it 45? Is that when it was published? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it was written close to the same time. It wasn't written very recently. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you Brain Pop, but let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about some of the characters. Let's just do a couple, and then we'll go to Spanish. So if you have your character map or whatever you can remember, what do we know about? Let's start with Old Major. From your character map, your categories are physical traits, what they say, what people think about them. Let's just brainstorm quick. What about Old Major? What do you guys know about Old Major? Anything. Even if it's off the top of your head, you don't necessarily need that paper. Jackie? Hushes? He's old, very old. How old? 12. Yeah, Adrian? He's rather stout, okay? So that's a physical trait. He's a big guy. Anything else? Yes? Yeah, so that's something that other characters think about him is they have admiration for him. That's very good. Yes? White. Yes. His real name is Willingdon Beauty. Willingdon Beauty. See, this is like Chopin. What are some of his famous quotes? What is Old Major famous for saying? You guys back here. What do you guys think? There's definitely one thing that we talked about yesterday. Dad? Well, who can we say is a symbol of Old Major? Karl Marx. And so they said a similar thing. Do you remember what that was? All animals are equal. It's kind of makes you want to throw your fist up. Yeah, all workers unite. And so what did Old Major say? Yeah, animals unite. All animals unite. That's his quote. That got everybody going, right? Okay, so you got some more for Old Major. Yeah.
He was respected and not wise.
He was very respected. He thought he was wise. Smart pig. How about, who do you got next? Who do you have next on your list? How about Molly? Nobody chose to write about Molly.
She's a shallow character.
She's a shallow. You think she's a shallow? What about what I told you yesterday? shallow picture? She did leave early. Well, let's talk about some of the characters you guys want to write about. We got a squealer. Let's talk about squealer quick, and then you guys can go to Spanish. Tell me something physical about squealer. Something physical about squealer. Killa.
Well, he's like small, but like over the book gets fatter and fatter and fatter, and then at the end he's just super fat.
Super fat, and how does he walk?
Well, like
At the end.
yeah, he walks on 2 legs with a
2 legs. Okay, good. Tell me something that squealer. Okay, what do you want to say about squealer?
When he talks, he jumps from side to side and this is his goal.
Okay, that's a physical thing that he does. That's something that he does. When he talks, he jumps around, wiggles his tail. Everybody believes everything he says because he's so adorable. And what are some things that he says? I know you might not have exact quotes right now. Jackie?
think about what you like to do and what you can do to get that. So right now, I'm working on this job.
He's always pumping up Napoleon, right? Making him seem so amazing. Anything else about Squealer? What do the animals think of Squealer? That. He's what? Speak up.
He's honest to them, like.
Yeah, the animals think that he's honest, right? That's another example of irony. We think, we think that he's being a liar, which he is, but the animals think he's being honest. Okay, adios. Really bad.
Sorry,
Can you do me a favor?
stuck in my head.
No.